There was truth and there was untruth. And if you clung to the truth, even against the whole world, you were not mad. 1984 by George Orwell is one of the most impactful books ever written. It has been widely used and misused in political discourse by all kinds of ideologues. Into that discourse, it entered terms like Big Brother, thought crime, doublethink, newspeak, thought police, and Orwellian, strangely enough as a synonym for the very thing that the author Orwell was against. It's been translated in over 65 languages, has sold over 30 million copies, has been banned in many countries, especially authoritarian regimes. It's been banned under Stalin, and as recently as 2022 in Belarus. In this video, I'll give a quick summary with spoilers and a few takeaways. I'd like to try to make it somewhat interesting to people who both have and have not read the book. Let's see how it goes. The world in the book 1984 is a dystopian future society, nation, maybe you can say superstate, named Oceania. It's fully controlled by a totalitarian political party called EIGHTYONE. It's led by Big Brother, who, as we might discuss, may or may not be a real person. He might just be a symbol used by the party. The party wants only to increase its power, also something we might talk about. It uses technology, telescreens, for mass surveillance. It's creating a new language called newspeak, which removes words from English that could lead to rebellion. It uses doublethink to control thought by, perhaps you could say, forcing you to hold contradictory beliefs and accept them as true. If not, the thought police arrest you for committing a thought crime. Examples of doublethink are war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. And finally, the party constantly rewrites history. As the quote goes, who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. There are several ministries, 4 of them. Ministry of Truth, it's responsible for propaganda and like I said, rewriting history. Ministry of Love is responsible for brainwashing people through torture. Ministry of Plenty is responsible for rationing of food, supplies, and goods. And Ministry of Peace, of course, is responsible for maintaining constant state of war. Society is divided into 3 levels. The inner party, the outer party, and the proles. The stands for, I guess, proletariats. It's the working class. The inner party is tiny, the outer party is a little bit bigger, and the majority of the people, I forget what the percentage is, maybe 80% is the proles, the working class. There's several key characters. Winston, the main character, is a low-ranking member of EIGHTYONE. He works at the Ministry of Truth, where he rewrites history, like I mentioned. Julia is a dark-haired girl who Winston falls in love with, and she with him. They have sex, and this is maybe a good place to mention that passionate sex, love and passionate sex are forbidden in this society. Good sex, I think, is a term under newspeak, is the kind of sex that leads to procreation, which is the only kind of sex that's allowed and the only kind of sex that's good. O'Brien is another central character. He's the member of the inner party that convinces Winston he's part of the Brotherhood, which is a lie. And he eventually is the man who tortures Winston and breaks his mind, breaks his heart. Big Brother and Emmanuel Goldstein are these symbolic characters that we never actually get to meet. They may or may not exist. Big Brother is the head of the party, EIGHTYONE, and Emmanuel Goldstein is the leader of the so-called Brotherhood, which is this supposed mysterious group that lurks in the shadows and works to overthrow the party. Again, may or may not exist. We'll maybe talk about the importance of that in a totalitarian state. So a few key takeaways, and I'll try to do my best. I have disparate notes that I took for myself. I'll try to do my best to try to integrate them together to make some cohesive thoughts. And part of the reason I wanted to do this, while I have read 1984 many times in my life, and many of the books I've put on a reading list that I want to read, I've read many times, I haven't often really concretized my thoughts about the books. I just take the journey and just let the thoughts kind of wander around in the background as I live my life. I wanted to kind of put on paper and maybe share with others to see what they think, what my concrete takeaways are from the book, what my thoughts are if I could try to convert them into words.